Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you for joining us. On your screen is our Connect stuff because I changed it. No, I didn't change that one. Never. I was going to offer a free high five if anyone knew what I changed, but it's not on that one. Let me get myself over here. It's one. Where am I? Oops. There we go. So, thank you, everyone. Welcome to the Nervous Ghost Press Open Mic. This is our July edition. I haven't thought of a cool name for July. You know, February is like Lovely Ghosts. March is Lucky Ghosts. I don't have anything for July. If anyone knows anything, shoot it my way. So, let me look at my notes. I'm distracted. This is the last page in this notebook thing. It's kind of cool. It's kind of sad. But I have another one that I don't want to open. But I'm going to have to open it. So, again, welcome to the Nervous Ghost Press Open Mic. You know what's funny? Two people mentioned, one on YouTube said hot ghost, and one on Zoom said heated ghost. Okay, I'm going to have to do something with that. The fiery ghost. I don't know. It's 1,000 degrees outside, but in our community arts workspace, it's very frosty. It's fantastic. So we are a 501c3 arts advocacy nonprofit. I believe and we believe that everybody should experience the power of the arts, no matter who you are, where you are, and when you need it the most. Always. I am an advocate for the community. Probably, maybe, I don't know, not enough, too much. It depends on what Ralph thinks. We have a art gallery in this space. If you know any artists, let me know. We give them their first exhibit, their 50th exhibit. Doesn't really matter. Workshops, reading events. We have a reading event tomorrow for Julia's book. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. We're not gonna stream it, but we'll have pictures and photos and things. So you can have your event here, an author signing, a workshop you want to run, anything. The space is yours. That's what it's for. Dennis and I and the editors are working on a broadsides program. I spoke about this last time, and it's moving slowly. Things move slowly. Where, if you don't know what a broadside is, it's kind of like a poster, a 16 by 20 or 17 by whatever it is, and it could be an excerpt from a story. It could be a poem. It could be anything. And at the end of the year, the goal is to have that its own exhibit, which I think would be really cool. And then afterwards, you could take it home, ship it to you, all that cool stuff. The Waiting Room Volume 2 is almost finished. The editors we have the final edits. We're just kind of plugging them in. One final round of review. We'll choose our release date, and then we're going to get it out. And then we're going to have release events, signings, all that stuff. It'll be fantastic. Our newest poetry collection, Dissociative Mythology, is going to come out soon. I'm working with the author this week for our final edits. And then, so by the end of the year, we'll have two new titles, which I think we're due. And I'm excited about it. We made a Discord for us because I was talking to the editors, and it made sense for me to learn how to do it. The QR code, if you want to join it, is up on the screen right now. But it's a way to communicate with the editors, communicate with me, communicate with each other, make friends, and just build the community in ways that we haven't been able to do when we have one event a month. And so there will be ways for people to get free feedback if you want it. There'll be ways just to share your ideas and just keep the conversation going. And so I'll put that link up again later on. But it's up now. QR code. If it doesn't work, let me know. I'm messing around with the joining of it, and there's like roles and things. It's interesting, but it'll be a fun way to communicate with everybody. So feel free. Connect with us on our other social medias. I posted on Blue Sky today. I had no idea how to do it. I'll have to learn how to use that more often. But we have all of our social medias up there. Support us. The newsletter goes out maybe once or twice a month. I need to get better at it. The email and the website. All the ways to get in touch with us. And in person, we're going to begin another series at a local venue. So once that is established and finalized, I'll let everybody know. But that'll be fun. So we'll have our last Saturday events here at the workspace, and then earlier in the month, during the week, in person for those who are local and want to get out there. I think that'll be great. So I'm talking a lot more today because I think I solved the audio issue, and I told our community guest MC, I'm like, I'm gonna talk a little longer today to see if it happens, because for the last almost a year, I think, and it popped up out of nowhere. Tamika, you'll remember the first time it happened, and I was like freaking out about it. I don't know where it came from. I told you it never happened before, and it's happened every single time since then, and it's embarrassing, and I'm angry about it. But today I think I solved it. And so I'm not going to jinx anything, but if it doesn't happen, then I don't know. I'm already a genius, but maybe I'm just a double genius or something. But it was, well, maybe not. It took me almost a year to figure it out, right? All right, let me look at my intro, mic fix, gallery, camera, outside DM, my Discord. Okay, cool. All right, we have a lot of people on Zoom today, which is awesome. I promised you a new poem last month as a way to keep myself honest. And yesterday, I was looking at the draft I had. I wrote it maybe a week or two ago. And I looked at the draft and I thought to myself, oh my God, this is a steaming hot pile of garbage. It was horrible. It made no sense. It was unnecessarily, I don't know, angry. It was just dumb. And then I tried to read. I'm like, no. And I'm not a big advocate on throwing things away, but that's done. It's gone. It's metaphorically incinerated. But I couldn't say I don't have anything because I promised it. I made a point. So today, after I cleaned up the office, worked on all the things, did all the cool stuff, bought some cookies and snacks for everybody that's here, I sat down and I made it. And of course, it became a paragraph one because I don't know, that's what I've been doing these days. So I'll read it for us. I'm gonna try and read it a little slow just to see if the audio is not broken. But if it is broken, just, I don't know, give me a hug later, I guess, or give me a metaphor. I'm not a big hugger. Give me like a half, like one of those things. So this is a new poem, and then I'll introduce our guest MC tonight and get the party started. The world will remember the ghost. If you can't breathe, do you suffocate or float away? This one's been sitting on my chest for a while. Haven't finished it, don't want to, not really sure why. I ain't ate in a couple days, waistline is smaller, feels good but feels too small. Too small, gotta grab a steak and some potatoes. See you again next month when it starts all over again. Can't lift too much, not a big enough frame. But if you don't, then you're just a small little bitch-ass, punk-ass, bitch-ass. You know what they say, don't you? Well, not really. It's not them. It's you, the voice in your head. The voice is my mistake. Bunch of them masquerading as one giant, ear-shattering, spine-splitting, flesh-rotting megalomaniac fuck that won't and will never and has not, could not, ought not ever stop because it's you. Without it, you ain't you. Gotta be you, can't be no one else. If you have a problem with that, just fix it. It's easy. There's this epidemic of kids killing themselves. Well, fuck it, adults too. Everyone from young to old screaming something is eating at them too much. The TV, don't talk about it. Dance about it, sing about it, scream and fight and fuck about it. But really, when the noose is untied, you gotta talk about it, hurt about it, and cry about it before someone else does. It ain't selfish, is it? But let's be real for a second. It 100% is. But don't let anyone hear you say that. You'll get lambasted and thrown across the fucking town into the arena where the jackals will come out of their hovels and fuck you in ways you would never wanted. These monsters don't care about the living. You know, everyone's an angel at their funeral. You can't be honest about the dead. Not these days. Emotions and words have been weaponized into weapons, sculpted around social justice. Cucks who couldn't save a life, still breathing, but over and always they'll rub that shit in your face, guilt trip you into the grave, and then turn around and pretend these social media assholes aren't actually assholes. Censoring themselves because money is more important than nooses, knives, blood, bullets, trucks and trains, pills, ovens, gas, poison, water, height, starving, thunder and lightning, fire and ice, and whatever the fuck else. You gotta open your goddamn eyes. There ain't no vein here, but in veins. But I mean, come on, you know the signs. You see the signs. You've been the signs. So speak up. And are you too embarrassed or what? You fucking cowards. Is it money? Money can't buy your friends back, your siblings still gone, auntie still buried, casting shadows every time someone dares speak their name because it's about you, right? The one left behind. Well, yeah, prick, who the fuck else, lol. We gotta figure something out. Public opinion doesn't matter more than life. And who's whacktivist assholes out here who think they know so much? Well, you know where to find me and I ain't going nowheres. We got legacies. We gotta save the fucking kids. We gotta save those who can't save themselves. But, well, you can't force them, can you? Catch 22 of these hands. So let's ride and sing and dance and come together at Arts Night and paint your fucking woes away. Wake up tomorrow and say, thank you, son, even though I hate you. The cold is better, but you gotta suffocate before you can breathe. You know. Sometimes you gotta find out what's important and who matters most. All I know in this global hellhole is the world will remember the ghost. And so that's the world will remember the ghost and the audio. Oh my God, I'm going to call it. The audio is fixed. It did not happen at all. Oh my God, this is awesome. The audio is fixed. All right, let me introduce our guest MC. This person we met, oh my gosh, a year ago, more than a year ago, on Zoom on one of these events. They popped up. They were a stranger like many are, and now they are part of our ghostly family. And they're here all the time. It's fantastic. If you ever not show up, I get sad. And so please, everybody, welcome from Louisiana, our community guest MC, Alecia Lewis.
Hi, thank y'all for having me. This is my first time ever hosting, and thank you, Novus Ghost, and thank you, Matthew, for pushing me out of my comfort zone.
Good.
Yes, and this is the first one I'm gonna read. This is fairly new. I've been reading Howl by Allen Ginsberg, and the first part of it, I did a blackout section and wrote a little something. It's called Purgatory Paradise. I saw minds destroyed by madness, dragged through the streets looking for an angry fix. Hipsters burned the ancient heavenly connection to the starry machinery smoking in supernatural darkness, contemplating angels hallucinating tragedy. The scholars expelled for crazy obscene odes cower unshaven in Paradise Alley purgatory night after night. Waking nightmares of shuddering lightning toward motionless, neon blinking vibrations chained to endless holy noise drained of brilliance through the stale, desolate crack of doom on the hydrogen jukebox. A lost battalion of platonic conversationalists, yakety yakking, disgorged in total recall, cast on the pavement vanish into ambiguous postcards at midnight, leaving broken hearts slit toward lonesome telepathy. The cosmos instinctively vibrated at the feet of visionary angels. The next one is fairly new. Ed heard this last night, and it's called Smothered in Pearls. I smiled for his camera, but it was a lie. We were a happy couple smiling, yet another lie. My smile was not happiness, but endurance. This was the golden age of marriage, where the front door remained locked from the outside. I did not stay for the children. I stayed because leaving was more dangerous. Divorce meant excommunication, banishment from friends, family, and community. My refusal would be met with his body weight and a locked door. I learned to lie still. My body was his property, a lease that never expired. I drowned in screams and tears, smothered in pearls, family portraits, cooked meals, and the clean house. It was my erasure. I was called graceful for staying. Grace is not a synonym for the marriage and family cage. It was called the problem with no name, but it had thousands of names: Wilma, Betty, June, Harriet, Donna, Carol, yours, and mine. We were shocked and meditated, because, not because we were crazy, but because we wanted out of the damn cage. We carried his unwanted touch into our golden years, silently smiling for his camera. And this next one just got published in Muse Pie Press. It's very short. It's called Mutated Beauty. I evolve between phases of celestial static in a surreal galactic volcano where tropical constellations mutate from molten myth. And I will be back later with more later on. Our next speaker is Alexandra Roswick. I met her at a poetry reading and she's wonderful. I'm so glad she's here. Here's Alexandra. Okay, we'll come back to Alexandra. Next, we're going to go to Charlie. Charlie is from New York. He's got a wonderful book, Simply, Quiet, Patiently. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. And he also has a book coming out in October. Here's Charlie.
Thanks so much, Alecia, and thanks, Nervous Ghost, for hosting this. And yeah, I'm gonna read a piece from my upcoming book that's called Emcee, which is coming out with Pete's Press in October, and it's a hybrid prose collection of creative nonfiction. So I'm gonna read a piece that's about people that I knew when I lived in Nashville in my 20s. It's sort of just a grouping of recollections about these people and how they impacted me. I don't live near the fairgrounds anymore. The house had previously been a police station. There was an exit sign above the door and a water fountain in the living room. I don't sleep on the air mattress in the back room anymore, or avoid the basement where bad things happened. I don't drive past Allison Place anymore, where the cable repair guy crashed into the side of my car. I still notice silica haze when I walk by a window with a failed seal. I still remember how long it took to get to the sea. 9 hours. I remember lots of things. I don't live near the fairgrounds anymore. Not like I did when you checked into the hotel. I was at the desk that day, but I don't know if I checked you in or if you had already been there. Not like the fellow who showed up with a woman he very clearly didn't know when he asked for a room for a few hours. No, you weren't interested in that kind of arrangement. You wanted a room forever. Somewhere where the noise would finally stop. Somewhere that could be yours and yours alone for all time. Somewhere where time itself would finally leave you alone, along with everyone and everything else. Somewhere quiet, just off the parkway, and far from any destination. Somewhere where you could take your hands from your ears and open your eyes. Only that wouldn't be the case, would it? We'd find you face down in your own vomit before you could finish what you started, and do you the disservice of calling an ambulance, returning you to your cruel masters of time and noise. I don't live near the fairgrounds anymore. Your letter finds me in the fall, just before it would become fall-like after a merciless summer in New York. I disagree with them, every last one of them. They might not give a damn about your photography and your paintings, but I find them to be fantastic. Now, to answer your questions. I have no need of a car here. Commuting on foot keeps one in decent shape, although the weather is often less than kind. I do use the subway regularly, though it's about as reliable as a scratch hound on a sunburn. I rarely make meals at home, you guessed correctly. I'm not often there. After 15 years of the hustle-driven life, I do wonder about the alternatives, But you and I were never made for them, were we? Neither was he. He had been a baseball player, you said, before he was killed. I suppose people like us were never made for a lot of things, were we? When you ran the carpet cleaning business, you would finish a day of jobs and come home to your wife with what you made, only you kept a little aside. You were your own man back then, you said, not made for anything less. Now, your wife has passed. Your whole world has been turned upside down, you said. You had met her when you walked into a bar and noticed her sitting alone. You asked if the seat next to her was taken. Her immediate and indifferent response would have unnerved most men, but not you. She would be your wife. You would be her man. Neither of you were made for anything less. I don't live near the fairgrounds anymore, but I was too enamored with your name, the spaces between each letter unraveling in your melody, the voices that lowly bloomed in a hum, an imperfection becoming of your wings, the stillness of 3 words combined to spell more than I was able to translate. I did try, but I was too enamored with your name. The urgency to capture, the slow release of your being beyond what anemic senses offer, the rush to preserve you forever, outside of the ridiculous constructs for which we had no need, where I'd never be without you, and you would surely choose to remain. Now, I have only your name, misspelled and once familiar. Thank you very much. And as far as finding more about my work, my socials, and events and appearances and other speakings and getting in touch. Also, all of that can be found on my website, which is just my name, like in the little window, charlierao.com. So thank you so much. And I look forward to listening to everybody else. I'll be sticking around till the end. So thank you, Alecia. Thank you, Nervous Ghost. And thank you, everyone, for being here. Looking forward to hearing you all.
Thank you, Charlie. That was wonderful as always. Next up is for one of the poets who is responsible for me picking back up the pen. It is David Atwood. He's one of the Bad News Poets in Alexandria, Louisiana. They've got a book out on Amazon. It's wonderful. Take it away, David.
Thank you. And this is so wonderful, just getting to be in the company of poets, because we all know how rarely this gets to happen. Here is my latest chapbook, Mud Boy. And speaking of being in the company of poets, that inspired this. This poem is called And Go, and it's the last one in this book. With luck, you might find the baby in the king cake, that tribe of folk like you who will like you enough to tell you the truth about your writing. And go, be creative among them. Or, by luck, grab a comet's tail if you chance upon those few who will love you authentically so much that they never will let slip that your baby is ugly, only that it looks just like you. And go be a poet among them. And man, if you can find a good group to workshop with regularly, that's wonderful. Here's another one of mine that, as poets, we dredge deeply. And this was one that meant a lot to me about my mother. It's called Things Moms Say. My mom said once when the clouds parted, her mother pointed to the sky and said, "There, that's just enough blue to sew a kitten a pair of pants." Then my mom said she once watched her mother leave in a cab, her and her younger sisters left behind, knowing she would not be coming back. And my mom said that is when she learned to sew. Things moms say. I don't want to talk too much, but I got another one that I recently completed called The Opportunities of Driftwood. unpublished anywhere. A friend I hadn't seen since architecture school asked, "So what did you do with your degree?" I said, "I folded it into the shape of a Chinese fishing junk and flicked it into the Red River. There it found wind and chose left to head upstream, to fight against good reason and current of the decided and mighty Mississippi, with Alice Cooper, its captain, first mate Frank Lloyd Wright, and my first dog Tuffy manning a cannon at the aft. All fought bravely when the Kraken tried to pull them under near Missouri. My friend Lost nodded blankly and said, I framed mine, hung it on my office wall." Because, a lot of us in architecture school wound up not even using our degree. Well, I did for a good while, but not anymore. Now I'm back to being a voice actor again. And I think I think that's all I had laid out to read. I think that ate up my time pretty well. But thank you all, and thank you for inviting me. It was a lot of fun, and maybe I'll get to do this again sometime. Thank you, Alecia.
Thank you, David. Pleasure and wonderful as always. Next up, we've got another wonderful poet, Alexandra Waswick. We met about a year ago on an open mic, and she's just wonderful. Here's Alexandra.
Thank you, Alecia, and thank you for hosting this event. I'm excited to be back. I haven't been with the Nervous Ghost for a little bit. I haven't visited, but I'm so excited to be back. And of course, I'm in good company with Alecia. I'm so proud of you. I know I was kind of in and out, but I could hear what you were saying about stepping out of your comfort zone to Emcee. And I mean, I can't agree more. I feel the same way about Emceeing. I have been hosting a local open mic. I kind of just forced myself because I saw a need in my community, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it because of my fear of public speaking, but I forced myself to do it, and I'm so happy that I did because it's a great experience. But let me get to my poem. I'm going to read from the Owen Wister Review. I just got my copy a little while ago. This is an arts journal, a literary and arts journal from the University of Wyoming, where I live. Um, and I was really excited to be a part of this. Let me just find my page. I have not read this poem out loud. I don't believe I've read this at any. So this is the debut. I haven't read this to any readings. It's called New Year's Eve, and I believe this should be. It's a longer poem, so I believe I'll just read the one poem. All right. New Year's Eve. The girl in the selfie on my phone, unknown, locked in the bathroom with a turquoise tattered wet bath towel precariously hung on a crooked bar behind her glittered bodice. Ice sculpture posed while pieces chip away, drip down to her burning heels because lifted calves. Mint speckled mirror bearing jade irises, vessels bulged. Lids mascara smudged, oily scalp bristled ends in unkempt curls. Imperfections indicated in crystal, noted as she had in every surface since age 11. But something froze her compulsions of femininity, stiff as her body that one December morning. How many weeks ago? I ask my screen as she asks the camera. Lean, pout, click, post. This dress on this body, reclaimed, will mean everything. She's standing tall, expression unconvincing. She didn't intend for this snapshot of the end of the old, the dirty, the desperate. She aimed to record the start of a decade, anew. while looking forward to lunch at her favorite restaurant. Friends traveled to surround her. Spaghetti plate with sauce the color of the corner of her sagging eyes that should be aglow like the carol, but it's a blur. She's shining on with a smile bright as fireworks and that crackle of a laugh to disguise the looming outburst. Night falls like a cartoon grand piano. She dissociates on the car ride back, dreading the dark room where her death bringing phantom refused to fly home. Another year without a kiss at the stroke of the hands, though. A month earlier, she'd had it all planned. She won't remember midnight, just that it went on like a tunnel under the Charles, likely spent lonely in a bustling apartment, loudly bidding farewell to the final remnants of December, once her favorite month. Bah humbug, begone. Were they listening? Anxious mind absent where anger remained, leaving only enough space for vengeance and resolutions, because the promise of a painless future is all her frigid fingers could clasp. She remembers herself as a child when years of her life trailed like the tortoise alongside what she knew of tragedy, when she had the same conversation, begging someone for wisdom, until it snapped at her fragile limbs and began to pass like a frantic field mouse in my kitchen. She stares off again. Emptiness spirals into a countdown predicting how many years she will feel the holly smeared hauntings of a date she once marked on her calendar in candy cane, red ink, and a doltish doodle heart. 10, because it's even like justice in utopia. One clean syllable, underneath the tree lay open 5 fraudulent gifts with her name on the tags. Her name is mine, but these were for someone else. A warm body now frosted over like a 6 foot statue, standing for nothing. A pawn, 7 of 8, too late to save the others. The giver was a taker. It was no jolly old man who invaded her home at 2 in the morning. Today, I'm grateful she was stung by the noxious mind trick of rejection after use. The discard set her free, but it took until month 3. She couldn't know until she broke from the snow. I wonder what was the meaning of this photo. Decade anew, starting off on a swollen size 9, stumbling through fixations with cracked heels and a sore spine. For what? 4 years in, I accidentally scrolled to find her, thumb frosted to screen. Did she ever find her way back? I shivered the reflection away. Maybe next decade. Maybe good riddance. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Alexandra. You were wonderful. Next up, we've got Suze. Take it away, Suze. Suze, unmute. It's your turn.
Okay, yeah. So this is basically how I perform live at home. I design my mask. Uh, it's based on like wrestling masks and wrestling personas, and yep. Also, I just got my 12th publication of the last month. Uh, uh, a short story that I wrote for my screenwriting class. And yeah, quite proud of that. But today I'm going to read something that's a bit experimental. Uh yeah, here goes. This is called Intake Form for the New Mercy. The first line comes from comparative history. The second line is current management. They called it shame. The app calls it privacy. They hid the bad days. I mute the group chat myself. They prayed over the body. I charged the phone beside it. They prayed over the body. I charged the phone beside it. They said family matters. The platform says personal journey. They watched the son too closely. The algorithm watches him better. They feared what neighbors would say. Now no one has to say anything. They lock the door from outside. I lock it from inside. They make madness a household stain. I make it a scheduling issue. They said burden. The system says user. They said behave. The screen says continue watching. They said marry him quickly. The profile says still available. They said don't tell people. I said I'm just tired. They wanted the devil out. I just wanted the evening off. They wanted me to come home before the sunset. I just want my curfew curtailed. They wanted the family name clean. I wanted my search history erased. They brought holy ash. I brought a lighter and a joint. They brought shame and fresh clothes. I brought snacks and shut the door. They called it protection. I called it peace. The old world was cruel loudly. The new world leaves quietly. The old world made a scene. The new world makes a plan. The old world used bad names. The new world offers better labels. The old world had no language. The new world has language and rent. The old world punished the strange. The new world lets the strange subscribe. The old world says possessed. The new world says premium. This is progress. This is still not belonging. No one drills the skull. The mind scrolls itself open. No one drags me to a temple. I take myself nowhere for days. No one calls the neighbors. No one calls at all. No one makes me public. I disappear in high resolution. No one says I shame the family. I shame myself with better grammar. Please mark all that apply. I am grateful I was not born earlier. I am angry that being grateful is treated as enough. I know the locked door saved me. I know the locked door swallowed years. I remember saying tomorrow until tomorrow lost interest. I remember the shows more clearly than the birthdays. I remember being alone and calling it a choice. I remember surviving in ways that looked like wasting. Patient reports, the old mercy would have had me corrected. The new mercy left me undisturbed. That is better, but that is still not love. The family history says silence on the mother's side, fear on the father's side, men who did not speak, women who carried the speaking, children taught to look normal before they knew what hurt. My current symptoms include the fact that I cannot name the diagnosis. I can name the coping mechanism. I cannot name the app, the strain, the show, the snack, the exact hour the evening becomes unsafe. I still cannot name the place where people like me are supposed to go before we become content customer cautionary tale. Privacy helped. Privacy hid. Privacy gave me a door and taught me to vanish behind it. Assessment. Better than what came before. Still waiting for what comes after. Okay, so that's one, and I have a quick another one. So this one is called To the Kite Flying High Above the Flyover Outside the Psychiatrist's Office. Outside the psychiatrist's office, I look up. Bad habit. Forward is traffic, pharmacy glow, fathers pretending, not to panic, mothers holding appointment slips like temple receipts. Above the flyover, a black kite circles, bird first. Forked tail, brown wing, one hard eye reading the road. Not mercy, it's altitude with hunger in it. Tuk-tuks cough, bikes knife through lanes, heat lifts petrol. A guava man sleeps under a digestive health family, all white teeth, all solved stomachs. In my palm, the pill, small moon, government approved. I take it dry, badly. It sticks, then obeys. A white instruction moving down the wrong animal. The kite turns, not free, only higher than consequence. I know the trick. Balcony, joke, diagnosis, poem, every clean height I used to avoid landing. Then paper enters. Pink yellow, torn at one corner. A child on a terrace worries the string, pulling sky into behavior. The paper kite jerks, climbs, folds, survives, color with a cut, cut, cut. Freedom with a thread, running straight through the spine. There, both versions of me. Mind a black kite circling, detached, almost grateful, if seen from far enough away, searching for something small enough to take. My body a paper kite, bright, tugged, thin, pretending fight while someone else's hand translates panic into direction. The pill goes lower, wind adjusts, string tightens. Inside me, hunger above traffic, color above collapse. One part hunting, one part held in hand. For a second, bird and paper share the flyover heat, neither ceding, both propulsing. The sky full of controlled things. I stand with medicine breath, clinic sweat, my good vocabulary failing quietly in the throat. No revelation, no healed music. The bird drops. The paper kite shudders sideways, catches a damaged current, stays up by accident. I cross when the signal permits, not better, not saved, just done mistaking height for escape and escape for wanting to live. Yep, I'm good. I'm gonna put my Instagram right here.
Thank you, Suze. That was awesome. Love your mask. Totally epic, my friend. Next, we have Tamika. Take it away, Tamika.
Hello. Hello. I'm sorry. I just like just wrote this. I keep doing this. I hope this sounds okay. I don't know, but here we go. All right. It doesn't have a name, so here we go. It says, so we all have a picker that helps us. Based off of that picker is how we trust. Life causes us to choose who and how we select. Some can be based off of trauma and some off of neglect. Some of us pick with joy and pride, and some of us use that to hide how we decide. We pick based off of a life we want and need. Yet, some of these dudes we pick, they are of a different breed. Like Tony, this dude swore he owned me. Or Marcus, he loved to cuss and fuss. Or the David with the same last name, he played me like I was a game. Or the other David, he was a complete ass. But due to my picker, I kept giving him a pass. I had to let go of him because he was too toxic. Now I'm uncomfortable with being alone and I need someone else to pick. I was seeing through a faulty filter, and like a magnet, I kept that broken map, hoping a relationship would stick. Yet each one weighed a ton, like a building made of a brick. But I'm getting older and time is starting to tick, so I'm in a hurry. Who will I marry? Who will I pick? I think this is starting to make me sick. Then there is havoc. Yes, that's what he called himself. And that's exactly what he did. But I realized that the havoc really started when I was a kid. But this havoc, he only wanted sex. So I quickly moved on to the next. Oh, let's not forget about Alonzo. Though he was always there, he eventually let his true colors show. He was like a fuse waiting to blow. Jeff, he was a sweetheart, but my low self-esteem tore us apart. And Antoine, he wasn't my type at all and was in the drug game, which would eventually be his downfall. Brian loved me, but at the time I didn't love him back. I thought he was a nerd and that his personality was whack, but when I wanted him, he had a glow up and treated me like trash. He fucked me and threw cash at me like I was a piece of ass. I kept picking any type of man. My picker is definitely broken, but by the initial touch of an unwanted hand, I pretended that I picked each man with confidence, but by pretending I had to face a consequence, waiting for my prince and charming to be revealed, completely overlooking that my inner child needed to be healed. So my picker continued to steal from me, which became a big deal because I no longer knew who I was. Nothing seemed real. I no longer knew how to feel, but I tried not to make it a huge ordeal. I used the picker to search for what was missing inside because something in me a long time ago had died. A reality that as I was not as I was not truly happy. That each relationship left me feeling crappy. I started to feel like maybe I am broken because my picker is defective and I keep picking the wrong man, and it's like I keep picking the one that I know shouldn't be chosen. I think at some point I may have even said any, many, miny, mo. I choose anyone that would be interested or willing to be there. Some I knew that I needed to let go, some I really didn't know, and some I accepted what they wanted to show. Never someone that helped me to grow, just whoever was on display, coming and going as they may, hanging on to their every word like it was like what they said was okay, accepting the mask that they would portray. But you know what they say, our picker is only broken because they were installed that way. We choose based off of what our past and what we saw back then. And back then, we truly couldn't comprehend that we were a kid laying in our bed in princess pajamas back when when we were hurt and we didn't know the depth of trauma. And no, we picked men because of what we saw from our mama and our family trauma. We were where a man would hit a woman and she'd better not stand. She'd better not fight. Yes, all of this is exactly why my picker isn't right. Something is off and I can't trust who I pick. It all feels like a lie or a trick. So now I've decided to stay alone until I learn to fix my picker and my self-worth. I will grow on my own. I will become stronger and choose me. I won't pick you just to have someone any longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Tamika. That was wonderful. You're awesome as always. I've met Tamika here on Novus Ghost, and she's amazing. Next up, we have Lynn. I met Lynn about a couple months ago from Collapse Press. She's wonderful, and she's got the best poetry cat ever. So beautiful. Take it away, Lynn.
Thank you. I apologize. Yeah, I usually have a cat with me when I'm on here, but yes, I do. I host a monthly open mic series online since the pandemic, so we're at over 5 years. So that's how, yeah, that's how we met. So thank you. I'll just do two from my book, and nice to meet everybody. So this is Blue and the Ganglia Grid. I am being replaced board by board, beam by beam. I become the building that I wasn't. I am down to the studs of what I was. I am rough, wound-toothed. I have holes where the screws used to be. There are new spaces, empty within me. Things were taken from in between me. I am vertical, weight-bearing bones. I am witness. I inhabit and I hold what I was. I hold up a house I do not own. There is no deed with any mention of me. I have no key. I am holding up a body. I am underneath an architecture I did not design. The weight is binding. I am being replaced board by board and beam by beam. Beams from my beginning are gone. In the prying, in the pulling, I will be there for the last. I will be there, then I won't be. Just like that. They say our cells are replaced every 7 years, that in time we are variations, persons who we weren't, and board by board we become the babies who we weren't. They say our cells are replaced. They never know if they will be the last to be tasked with this configuration. And the next one, and I'll just do two, the ganglia grid. The cells conspire, fuse to unity. They cluster at the brain, encased in new. They surround it as to a pit, like a rind. It crackles as it cools. They scuttle across the skull. They grow into continents. They grow populations. They communicate with electricity through the ganglia grid. They are given fire. For a time, there is novelty, beauty. They are given war. They flicker at the fire like dancers, cooling down, slowing in the minutes, turning their backs facing night. They leave the circle, going dark to other, forming countries, nations, standing still. The monuments begin, the worshiping, gold gods packed in tins. Like mountains, they are pushed up from the land, ice, stones, sand. They rise, casting shadows. They rise up as monuments of sand, never knowing if they will be the last to be tasked with this configuration. Thank you guys so much, and so nice to meet everybody. And thank you, Ghost. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Lynn. That was awesome as always. Next up, we have Keelan. Take it away, Keelan.
Thank you. Hey guys. I got a couple of very little poems. Let me see if I can find them. All right, here we go. This one this one's called The Statue. The day has been standing off from me, watching, like a statue with dark eyes. It's all been coming for a while now. The sky's been forcing itself into my dreams. I do not complain. I just know that on the other side of life's thin veil, a bird of flame recoils. And I'm not sure what to do with that. And I'm not sure where to go. Thank you. And let's see, I got another one here. It's called Italy. Poets should never move to Italy. It's too much for them. Too heady a mixture of history and wine. Poets can't have things too good like that. Too green or warm or sacred, lest it throw off the frail Delphic balance and call the claimants in too soon. Look at Keats. Look at how Italy called its tab on his sensitivity and pushed him off this coil to live in roses for good. Look at how it repaid the fatalism of Shelley with capsizal, the populism of Ovid with banishment into the dark. Look at how it sent Byron the one woman on earth he couldn't have and watched him scramble for death. Watched Dante die, a saint of clarity chased into disorder. This is the way of a landscape of hills too beautiful. This is the nature of the land that broke Greece open into portable sheaves. Some dark magic came thereof, some gods were offended, that range the world of poetry like unleashed dogs, and call the writer ever to be wary of his song. Poets should never move to Italy. They should live in New Jersey, in a basement apartment, and thank the gods for their one little window facing a brick wall. Thank you.
Thank you, Kaylin. That was wonderful. Next up, we've got Ed Gonzalez Jedi. I've met him at the open mic we do every Friday night with Dane. It's the salon. Take it away, Ed. Thank you so much. You rock.
Oh, thanks so much. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you, Alecia. Thank you. Probably one of the coolest open mic title I've ever seen. Nervous Ghost. I was like, I gotta go to that. I mean, there's no way I can miss that. That just sounds cool. I got two. These are actually two old ones that I had dug through, and I'm still working on them. These are the ones I wrote for another online group I was in San Antonio. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. This was actually a writing assignment. The title was Inspirational, and I'm pretty sure I think I read them last night. But anyway, this one's entitled Jim Fix. If I had to choose at present, I would choose someone I met at a book signing in Signal Hill, California, bookstore. And at that time, I was patterning my life after him. And his name, I did everything he did. His name was Jim Fix. I ate, measured, applied to my racing formula. Miles were measured out, as well as I was a well-oiled running machine. And one day while I was stretching, it came over the television. Jim Fix had passed away from a heart attack. Stunned. How's this possible? This changed my whole life trajectory. I put all my plans of running marathons and living forever in jeopardy. But after a day, I decided I'm going to go recover at Fossilman's, a ice cream parlor, for a comforting banana split. I was done with training, and only trips to IHOP and the Village Inn for pies for me. From now on, I vowed to live my life in this present moment, to live and not merely survive. Still working on that one. This is actually a true story. This one's entitled A Free Lunch. I got off a 12-hour shift at the pharmacy, and just in time because my stimulants had run out, and I dragged myself out of my truck. There, it stood aloft on my porch in the shadows, tucked away out of the outstretched view of the halogen lamp. While still lit, but not bathed in light, a shadowed glimpse of culinary delight. It has happened before. Missed food delivery. Oh, DoorDash, God bless those overworked drivers. Oh, but in my haste, I grabbed up the bag, glancing at the packaging, and yes! Doritos tacos from Taco Bell. I opened the door, and I thought of feasting on my free feed. Alas, a familiar burn from a memory. As I tore open the bag, there they were before me, disassembling my prize. Texas Hill Country's finest, fire ants. Commencing to setting my limbs ablaze. I made a quick turn and ran for the trash bin to allow the denizens of the deep a quiet place to finish their supper. as I continued to quell my scorched skid cells on my arms and reach the obvious conclusion. There's no such thing as free food. No, not really. Thank you very much again. Thank you again, Alecia. Thank you again, Nervous Ghost, for this opportunity. I usually generally end with, please take time for yourself every day, even if it's just a few centering breaths. Self-care is what it's all about. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Thank you, Ed. You are wonderful as always. I'm going to share 4 more poems. The first one I wrote 3 years ago when I turned 50. It was published in Cthulhu magazine. It's the only time I've ever been paid for a poem. Got paid $5, which I turned around and gave it back to him so I could have a copy. This one is called Golden Anniversary. On my golden anniversary, I retrieved the unorthodox fragments of myself previously abandoned. I welcomed all the exiled elements of my uniquely powerful divinity home. I am not the woman I used to be, exiting one chronicle's end, entering a new once upon a time, evolving, transforming, elevating on my golden anniversary. Next one is Stylized Rebellion. First time reading it, it was inspired by Harley Quinn. Okie dokie. It's called Stylized Rebellion. I wasn't born in the pages of a comic. I exploded onto pop culture. I was never meant to last. With mischievous vulnerability and an unhinged charm, I broke out of the shadows with a complex evolution. Layered in trauma and strength, my mythological resilience and reinvention proved I am so much more than a sidekick or a villain. My legacy is a reflection and impact, extending beyond fiction with a transition from dark deco art to neon chaos. This next one is I was challenged by a couple of friends to write a poem with some profanity. And so it's got some language in it, so a little bit of warning. This is called Entry, Exit, Escape, Error. I did not enter, but fell through the cracks into this veiled, malfunctioning hell. Abysmal catacombs of empty labyrinths exist beyond classified binary reality. I am not trapped in one place, but in infinite levels of safety and danger. Some offer shelter, others stalk serenely, some obliviate obscurely, others stay occupied. So severed stairwells, mirrored mazes, gaunt gardens, canary corridors, abandoned arcades. Shit! What the fuck? I can't find the goddamn exit. Where the fuck is it? The deeper the deeper the dissension, the deeper this damnation distorts. My escape is next to fucking impossible. Last one is one of my favorite poems I like to read. It hasn't yet been published, but it was inspired by Val Kilmer's performance as Jim Morrison in The Doors, Isabella Adjani's performance in Obsession, which is an 80s horror movie, highly recommended, and a couple of my performances in community theater. There is a little bit of language, not much, just one F-bomb. It's called Blurred Lines. Immense and a terrifying and addictive role, long before I was cast, rehearsed with precision, every movement, every thought studied. I was not chasing imitation. I experienced that turmoil, the defiance of a tragedy existing within. My unnerving, intense commitment with an intense, volatile essence and emotional energy made it impossible to remain detached. Pouring myself into every moment, I exited scenes, physically drained and emotionally exposed. On stage, under the lights, the audience responds to these raw, intimate moments of my haunted, transformation. This performance bled into my life, taking months to separate myself from the character. I summoned the spirit with an uncompromising truth, accomplishing something extraordinary. It was my most demanding and illuminating role. That voice still resides within, long after the faded applause and extinguished limelight. I still carry this presence, giving everything to that performance. I didn't perform the role. I fucking lived it. And next we've got Suze wants to go again, so take it away, Suze.
Okay, this time without the mask. Let me see here. Okay, so I have two short ones and one medium one. This one is called Before I Trust You. Your voice, your stories, the way you stay near can bring me almost close, but not enough until you come closer. Soap, skin, perfume, something clean moving through the air before your mind came through it. Then my body loosens, you become real, trust enters through my nose. So that's one. That's my little kitty. Uh, then I have car accident. Crash, pow, dish, crow, ring, 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 ring. Happens right in front of you on a scorching summer afternoon, surrounded by the fury of 1,000 burning, overheated metal horses plowing through streetlights. Red, yellow, green, zebra down too. Through this assemblage of naked machismo sat one passage folded open, through where just one filthy flowing heap amongst heaps of heaps may fit through with the cacophony of striated muscles flexing hard against the inebriated daywalkers in a catastrophic hurry to matter more mayday. Happens right in front of you, but now slowly it materializes, finger cut, first flying out through the window at the speed of a headless chicken, with a penchant for finding boxes, but now following the finger, you see a trail of blood mist spraying in the afternoon heat. Then a torn meniscus, fractured tibia, shattered pelvis, splintered ribcage, herniated spinal disc, and a broken neck. Wait, no. Wait, no. You can see a head on the road rolling from side to side like it's listening to its favorite songs, not sitting in cow manure and piss. Coward sitting like a passenger princess telling us what to do. You'll show them, won't you, when you're lying in pigeon smut, being mixed with sand so they clear it off the road and say, hey, this is India. So they won't even put your picture on the side of the road because losers don't get rewarded here. But you know that already a big winner you were once in life. Look at your car, once magnificent in the sun, radiating charisma like it was a newscaster screaming, the nation wants to know. But you had to look at your phone because your homeboy sent you a meme. Guess who got the last fucking laugh? And I have one last one, and this is a little cuter and a little funnier. This is called, this is about my cats, and it's called Here's My Bum. For weeks, the kitten runs before I have even moved. Sometimes it hisses just to keep the arrangement clear. Then one afternoon, it walks past my hand, stops, raises its tail, and presents me with one small command. Here, scratch. I do. It leans harder. I scratch again. The back arches. The tiny feet stamp once against the ground. A purr starts somewhere too large for its body. I'm afraid to laugh, afraid that even joy might startle it away. So I keep my hand steady while this little animal, who has spent weeks treating me like a trash can with a t-shirt, decides I have finally understood my purpose. Then it walks off without looking back, leaving me there with the stupidest smile I have worn all week, and one hand still shaped around the miracle of its bum. Yeah, and I'm done.
Thank you, Suze. That was
You're
wonderful.
welcome. Thank you.
That was okay. Okay, Matthew will be back in a minute. Until Matthew comes back, I think I'm going to read another poem until he gets back. This one was inspired by 90 Day Fiance. This is called Sequined Disaster. Here she is, the manufactured queen with more eyeliner than a panda, using more hairspray than an 80s hair metal glam band. Severely allergic to accountability, her curated drama is fueled by selective memory. Always camera and chaos ready, an emotional wreck in a cocktail dress weaponizes seduction. Her manipulation is foreplay. With affection as leverage, her intimacy is transactional. She struts in couture, stilettos, and fishnets, unable to hold her liquor, much less her dignity. Impeccable crocodile tears arrive on cue. Rivers as mascara for the edit. She replaces instead of recovers. Heals for the screen. Hot mess spectacle in public and private. She keeps hidden texts and secret DMs from backup lovers and convenient exes rebranded as friends. History edited, dramatics repackaged. Heartbreaks and grievances repurposed and polished for entertainment. This delusional diva curates the wreckage, filters the fallout, posts growth. She is catastrophic confetti wrapped in a mystery box, revealing the same red flag, styled differently. Reality is negotiable. Optics are sacred. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Matthew? Where's Matthew?
How's it going? Okay, so we're gonna do our Q&A, and I'm gonna change the screen on YouTube, but it's gonna be a little smaller. Let's see. Okay, I'm putting it so everyone's camera you're gonna pop up. Oh, let me change mine first. So if you're doing something weird, this is your warning. Oh wait, I'm turned around. Hold on once. Oh, there we go. See, I gotta do this. Perfect. There we go. So before, when we were online all the time, I had a designated screen YouTube thing for Zoom where we were in like this giant group. But I deleted it, and I don't know why. And so we're a little bit squished. I think it's okay.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
think it's okay.
You know what I can do? Hold on, check this out. For all the YouTube people, I'm putting. Oh, did it work? No, it didn't work. It doesn't matter. Okay. But now I need to change it back because it's going to mess me up when I go back next time. Okay. So we'll do our Q&A. People that are watching, if you're watching, text me, text Alecia, text anybody, type it into the YouTube chat. And so these Q&As are more like conversations, and it's really nice to have conversations with speakers, with artists, with writers, outside of something like, "Hey Charlie, what was it like making your book?" It's like, "Oh, okay." You know, more like, "Hey, what's the nitty-gritty? What hurts?" And the real questions, and we could just talk with each other. So the first question I have for everybody, and then there is one on YouTube, Alecia, so I'll ask that, and you can run it, or I can do it, whatever you're more comfortable
I'll let you
with.
run it, Matthew. I'll run the next one.
Sounds good. And so this is for anybody that wants to answer. And it's one of the questions I ask all the time. But when you're entering a space where you're reading publicly, and it's on Zoom, sometimes it's here in person, whether you're standing up, whether you're in front of a screen, a camera, whatever it is, how do you determine or decide which one you read versus which pieces you write that stay in the drawer in the book and for others? So how do you decide which piece you read out loud for others?
I've like wanted to sometimes I'll pick a set and then about halfway through I'm like, no, I want to read this one. I want to read that one. Sometimes it's predetermined, other times it's just like, oh, I want to read this or I want to read that. And I already had like two of them that I decided that I was going to definitely read, which was Purgatory Paradise and Entry, Escape, Exit, Error.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Okay. Oh, can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, El Paso's kind of a funny place. It's long and stretched, and it follows the border. So people are either east side or west side because it's all like stretched. There is a southern valley that goes below her, but I mean generally there's nothing but houses there. And anything that comes on the east side, I go to the open mics. I love it. I love it. Um, there was when I was in San Antonio, I was in a group there, and we would just do like a workshop kind of thing. We would all read at one of the local libraries, but generally I will read things that are new for me. Um, and if I really like them, and I think I'm done editing them, which is a joke for me because I'm never done editing. I'll put it in a category how I want my book to come out, and that's generally it. I'm usually try out new stuff. That's generally it. We also, well, here with the local barbed wire group, um, we usually end with some like some other poet's work, and then we usually put a hat on and call it a cover poem. So, but anyway, yeah, no, for me, it's usually new stuff, whether online or and these two were also too, and you could tell because I haven't printed them out, and they're still here. I scratched them down on pencil, and this is my travel notebook because my son's in the hospital right now, so I've been doing a lot of writing and sort of in the waiting room. But anyway, that's I guess that's my thing, just new stuff.
All right, so a question on YouTube is what are what are your favorite ways to get your creative juices flowing? Or any ways for that matter.
Well, I like to read, like doing a lot of reading. And when my first Mardi Gras I was at, just like, and I carry my phone with me and I text myself and I have notebooks with me because you never know when something's going to pop up. And it could be like, I could be listening to music or watching a movie and I can hear and I'll hear something like, oh, that sounds awesome. Or that sounds pretty neat. And I'll like write it down. I'll come back to it later. And when I started back writing poetry, one of the first poems I did was like a Sentu poem, which consisted of song titles, which those take a little bit longer because they have to flow just right. And also when I write, I like to listen to like instrumental music, whether it's like something psychedelic instrumental or one of the jazz channels on YouTube. Just
You know what? Just I agree. Like I can't listen if I'm writing anything, I can't listen to music that has words
yeah,
because somehow I hear it just the words mess me. It has to be either any kind of music, metal or classical, just instrumentals, and then I just kind of jump in. But I hate the words.
yeah.
Well, I need the TV on on like a cop show. So like Law and Order, FBI, CSI, like something, NCIS. Like it has to be a cop show so that I can kind of drown it out. And then I need music also playing, but it has to be something that my ADHD is like kind of caught up to. Uh like right now it's the band Biffy Clyro. So I'm on them and it has to have their 10 songs on like repeat. And usually with my cat or my dog nearby. And it, like this combination, and then because of my severe ADHD, I need my Adderall, Ritalin, Inspiral combo. And yeah, then kind of that with coffee helps a lot.
I like to journal a lot. Bouncing off what Alecia said, I think to write, the most important thing is to constantly be reading. Um, Constantly be reading and thinking about why what you're reading is inspiring you, and let that sort of swirl around whatever you're thinking about when you journal. Because journaling and just kind of brain dumping whatever is in your head and not thinking about whether it's literary or not, for me anyway, is a really good way to just consistently and every day throughout the day get ideas down that might remind me of something. So I feel like for creativity, I'm constantly trying to remind myself of things. Journaling is one way to do that, but also just trying to focus on being receptive when you interact with people throughout the day and remembering what those interactions are, and combining all that with consistently reading and intaking new information and just giving your mind lots to consider. That's something that I try to do. Sometimes I'm better at it than others, but
I agree, Charlie. You know, one thing I tell my students all the time is you have to let your brain like do what it does. And journaling, writing, every time you write something, your thought goes somewhere. I would, you hear people all the time say, well, the story kind of wrote itself, or the painting painted itself. And it sounds like the painting picked up a paintbrush and painted itself. No, that's not what it is. It's after every line, a new line was born. Billions of lines were removed, and billions of new lines had potential to be created after every brushstroke. The new brushstrokes became clear, and so on. And so, the hard part with sometimes writer's block is you got to write through it, and you just got to write and write and write and write garbage, like my previous draft and all these drafts. And I lied earlier. I said I destroyed it, but I kept it, and it's in a folder called "Shitty Drafts That I Hate." And it's good because sometimes you go back years later, however long, and I hope you do. I hope everybody does. And if you don't do it, save them, because sometimes you go back and you read and it's terrible and makes you mad. And there's this one little line in there, and you're like, "Oh my god, this is it. This is the line I've been looking for," and it's been rotting away.
Because I've got like a file of like bits and pieces of fragments, and then I've got texts to myself on my cell phone with like bits and pieces of fragments, and I've got some poems that are like in my draft file that I'm like reworking. I'm like,
Yeah. So before I ask my next question, there's a question in YouTube. I'm assuming it's for Suze, but anybody says, question for the cat. Do you inspire the poems or just judge the poems?
yeah, my cat judges.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
My cat also just doesn't care.
It's just a cat.
Yeah, it's just she's there. She's like, I want the treats. She's currently circling like her food bowl and there's food, but she wants like treats.
I like it.
Yeah. there's an industrial yard that runs along back over the wall where I live, and there is a I'm not sure what they're called here because I was told here in El Paso it's called something else, but in San Antonio we call them colonies, and these are basically feral cats that sort of live in a group, and they come over from time to time. They come over the wall, and I like to sit in my backyard and I write. And generally, my wife will come over and say, "Who are you talking to?" And then the ones that keep coming back, I give them names. Generally, Stumpy, which is an old, really old tabby. He usually comes over and listens to me talk and write out some of my stuff. And when I set up the bonfire, because every now and then, you get, I don't know, sometimes I get lost. So I'll set up a bonfire, and generally I'll ask. I used to ask the my ancestors, the ones that my family that have passed. But a reverend friend of mine said it's okay to talk to the creator. And even if she says it's okay because there's really nothing she hasn't heard before. And I thought, yeah, that's true. And the other day, well, I was really upset because my son is in the hospital. So I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, he's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Why, I went that route, and it's amazing that the I guess the cathartic value of just doing that. I was feeling much better, and I could tell Stumpy was feeling better too. So I went and got him a piece of bacon. But all those wonderful things, I think I do every single one of them. I generally the only time I actually use my keyboard is when I'm writing in my journal. I have a journal file, but I keep it in this little fish, and it has it's a flash drive. But when I'm journaling, I put the fish in, and and that's where all my journals is located. Other than that, I write everything down on paper, and I take my notebooks everywhere with me. So generally, even some road rage turns into a couple of poems. But I've dealt with that because I'm 6 feet tall. So once I get this face and stand up outside my car, that people generally will think twice about hassling me. But I'll always say the same thing. I'm not in your hurry. So
Oh,
have a good day.
I'm not in your hurry.
I send them on their way. I'm not in your hurry. And they're like, oh, okay. I don't know if that just dissipates the road rage or whatever. I'm not mad. I'm driving. So anyway, those are my 2 cents.
And I had a flash drive, and somehow it went bad, and I lost a lot of drafts, which a friend was able to save some of it. He's just like, I'm sorry I couldn't save everything. And I'm like, I had everything typed out. And so I had to just like spend the week. It took like 2 or 3 days to like retype everything. And some of it that was like, it was able to fix, the font was off, which was I didn't care. I was happy, and I could just like go back and make the corrections. And now I save my poems on a cloud, and then gonna get a big junk drive that I keep it all in. That way, when I'm in between computers, I can. Awesome.
Yeah, I have this one. That is, what is, if I can read what it is. But anyway, 2 terabytes are in there, believe it or not.
Awesome.
And this I moved from my 2 laptops. There's one in the other room and there's one here. But generally everything I like to save in that. But I don't know, for some reason, I don't know. I've been loading up this fish for so many times. Maybe I should transfer that stuff. But anyway.
Fish is glorious.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have Alecia too, and Ed, I have mine in a folder, in a file, on paper, printed out, in an external drive, and then in a backup, and a backup, and a backup, because I mean, at some point, like you gotta save them in some way. You have to. And I don't not trust the cloud, but I use it. But also, it's just I don't know. It's a cloud. It's weird.
Yeah. It's difficult for me because I was talking to my son the other day and he said, wow, how do you feel about what? And he says, well, you're 63. And I said, you're 63. I don't recognize that number. I'm not even going to go there. I wrote a whole, I don't know, 10-page thing because he came over and he said, hey, old man, how's it going? And I'm like, oh, me, you're talking about me. Oh, um, well, it's going okay now. I'm going to have to go right now. So it was nice talking to you. And I left and I came in here and I wrote, I was like, well, I don't think of myself that way. It was just the funniest thing, I triggered me. Hey, I am 63. How about that? Linear time. Doggone it. Whose idea was that? Definitely wasn't mine. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, this cloud thing, I don't understand how that works. They won't give me my beeper back.
Oh, the
So
bastards.
yeah, so they gave me this, and apparently I can text and I can watch videos on it. Other than that, I have to call my son and say, okay, I'm trying to do this. How do I do that? Or if he comes over, he does it with one thumb. And there you go. Here you go, Dad. He gives it to me. That's my middle son. He would never tell me uh, my age, or he would never call me old man. So I appreciate that from him. He's far more enlightened than anybody I know. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't like technology, but anyways.
Yeah, I've learned that technology is temperamental. I learned that from working for Radio Shack in the 90s. It's like technology is very temperamental.
Yeah,
I love
I mean,
Radio Shack.
Alecia, I've been dealing with that audio thing for almost a year. Oh
Yeah.
my God. But
And I think you got it.
yeah, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I said it before. It's fixed. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It only took me 7 months. But so another question for everybody, and this is something sometimes I struggle with when I decide or what I'm writing and so on, is are there pieces that in your soul you have to write, but you don't want to? You don't want to go to that place that writing needs you to go to get it done. And you either compromise and write something that's kind of skirting next to it or kind of dancing around it, or you just say no, or you finally say, all right, I'm opening the door. And if you open the door, are you confident you're going to get back out? And so what's that process like, if you ever experienced that process? And so that's the question I have for everybody.
I have a philosophy when it comes to like writing. Even if I don't want to write it, I have to get it out because it can live. It can live forever. It just can't live in me. And so it's just like I may like get it out, just like to get it out, and then close that door, and then maybe come back to maybe a day, weeks, months, maybe a year or two from then. But my philosophy is just like it can live. It can live forever if it wants to. It just can't live forever in me.
Yeah, because it could fester and just kind of
Yeah,
rot
and then
in
just
here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like no. It's like I release it, I'll sit with it, and then I've got a poem. I think it's called Council of Sit and Stand. I'll read it next month. It's like pretty much invite the demons in, invite it in, listen to what it has to say, and then invite it to leave. Because that way, if it just goes unchecked and festers, it's going to manifest into something that might not be pleasant. That probably won't be pleasant. And so it's just, let's get it out there, even if it's not ready to share, which I've gotten poems that I've written about people, exes, to, to some extent that I'm like, I've got some that I've written, I just needed to get it out, that I haven't like read it out loud just yet. A couple of them I'm close to, I just have to go back and finish revising it. And I've got one I wrote immediately that it got published in Underland Review. It was like inspired by a situation where I admit someone broke their word and I retaliated, which I admit I could have handled that a lot better and I should have handled it a lot better.
Yeah, and you know there are some, and I'm sure you all maybe agree. I can't, maybe I don't know. I tend to assume, but I'm usually correct when I say I don't know. Is that weird to say? But there are some pieces you write that you know you're going to read,
Yeah.
and there are some you know I'm never gonna read it, but I gotta get it out anyway.
Absolutely. Because I've got some I'm like, just like one I wrote, I'm like, I probably will not read this out loud. And because it would probably hurt some people's feelings.
So, question. I was thinking this is similar to the previous question too. How often, and then I'll shut up for like 5 minutes. But how often do you write something that you know is gonna piss people off? Do you edit it? Do you change it? Do you soften it up, or do you say no? You know what? This is my writing. This is what I'm talking about. This is what it is. You don't like it. You don't like it. And that's not my fault. And
a little bit
so,
of
yeah.
both. A little bit of both, because my thing is just like, well, don't like it. Well, you shouldn't have been the inspiration now, should you? That's what happens. Like, got a couple like I won't share because I don't think I'm quite ready to just yet. And the other one's just like, there was one like I had like seen like a guy I briefly dated. I saw him and I was just like messaged him on Facebook, hey, it was good to see you. And he messages like, well, I'm not interested in you. And then I've sent him a poem that I had written. It was like Dear Reminiscent, which it was just like pretty much I really think about you. And it's just like my desire for you, longing, it's not there. I don't feel anything for you. And the end of it is, by the way, it was really good to see you. And then he wound up blocking me, which I'm like, whatever. I was just like, dude, get over yourself. And then I've got a rage poem that I'm working on. Haven't quite written it yet, but I think it's one I've mentioned to you that I was at an open mic earlier this year. I don't remember when, and the microphone we did not the I don't know, something happened. I don't know what. Where a microphone didn't get set out, and so when I'm reading my set, the audience is just they're talking, they're like ignoring. And by like my second or third poem, I'm like halfway through. I'm just like, pardon my language, I'm like, fuck y'all. Y'all don't deserve to hear my words. I'm just like, got up, left, went to another open mic that they were much more responsive. But when I get that poem written, I will be sharing it. And then I had
Honestly, yeah. Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, I don't care. Like, I don't give a shit. I write especially when I do open mics here in India. People write about the same 5 topics, and it's really, really annoying to have to sit through the same 5 poems week in and week out. It's like love, My job, well, I could say probably even 3. uh, and so sitting through that, I said I would never be that. Um, from when I was younger. So from when I was about 17, 18, and I heard poetry live and I heard that it was like the same 3 poems like repeated, I was like, no, I'm gonna write about myself. And I am not 3 things. I am more. And so it then evolved recently into I write about objects like a coconut. I am a coconut. I'm a banana. I'm a pothole. Like things that I see that could just be objects, but I find something within them that relates to people and could piss them off. Because I think also the best way to get people to laugh or to get people to engage is to kind of piss them off. Because when you kind of show people a mirror to who they are or what they do, they're forced to engage. Like, because I went to like one of my first shows doing stand up and doing like poetry live here in my city. I realized that, there were like these 5 people who weren't engaging with the show at all. And it wasn't even just the poetry, it was the stand up comedy, it was everything. And so I said, this is the guy that I need to move. This one dude who was sitting in the front row with his girlfriend, and he was there only for her, you could tell. Like, if she wasn't performing, he wasn't there. And I said, if I can make this dude laugh, I've done my bit. And so my 6 minute set or 7 minute set was entirely aimed around getting this guy to laugh. And so, and I could tell he was kind of pissed off because like a few of the jokes like were straight up about how he is ridiculous to come to a show and just sit there. Like, uh, and then I have pieces in India, people are always late. People are just ridiculously late. Like you start something at 7, people are there at like 8, 8:30. And then they're kind of like, "Oh, like you should be thankful that I'm here." And like, you go to a function and you go to an event and then there are all these people who talk down to you or like use what you're doing to kind of like make you feel bad. And I just take that and use that as material. And I'm like, I'm going to make fun of you. Like, you're late. Like, I'm going to make you feel bad. And I choose what I do based on the crowd, based on what I think people can handle to a certain extent, because you also don't want to turn people off. Like, if you're sitting there and you're not listening, that's also a loss for me. So yeah, that's kind of where I go from. And then answering the previous question about like writing stuff that's hard for you. I write a lot of stuff that's really hard because I write a lot about mental health, asexuality, queerness, um, things that people don't really engage with all that often. And especially in a country like India. Uh, and I find that I just write what's on my mind. I don't censor myself. I don't tell myself, no, you can't write this. No, people are gonna tell you this, this, this. Nah. Like, it's just if it's there on my mind, I write it.
I feel it. All right, Charlie, real quick before you have to go. Can I? All right. Do you have a copy of your book to show everybody? And also, Suze, I agree. Fuck them, right?
Yeah.
All right, Charlie's back.
Yay.
Hold on, we can't hear you. I think I can hold on. I think I can do it here. Oh no, it just asks you. That doesn't do it. It said you were muted.
Oh, that's weird. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Hell
Okay.
yeah.
This is my book, Simply, Patiently, Quietly, which is a collection of essays about approaching creativity through points of intention and distillation. And it's illustrated by my sister, Christina Rao Fishburne, who did these really amazing pen and ink illustrations relating to the essays. And then in the back is a songbook of 32 lullabies for solo guitar and choir that I composed. So I work as a musician, a studio musician and a composer, and then do freelance writing for magazines and publications. And this is the first standalone book I've published, and my second one is what I read from tonight that's going to come out in October, which is way different than this. This was still sort of in the music realm. It was published with Hal Leonard, a music publisher, and Emcee, the book in the fall, is coming out with Pete's Press, an indie press out of Canada, and that's a hybrid prose nonfiction collection. So yeah, that's what I read from tonight. But this is my current book that is available on all the platforms and such.
And Charlie's a wonderful musician.
Oh, thank you, Alecia.
Awesome. When it comes out, you can be the next guest MC, or we could have your own virtual reading for you.
Oh yeah, I'd love to come back. Yeah. Thank you so much. This has been really fantastic, and great to hear all of you read. It was amazing. And I mean, going back to what you were saying before, this is a good way to get your creative juices flowing. Listen to other people's work. So
yeah, that artwork looks amazing. You know, it reminded me a lot of. I've got a whole collection of Chaz Adams cartoons and stories. I took a quick look and I love it. I love that stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
That's why I got all those books, but I that's amazing art. I just love it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's really fantastic.
Yeah. Talent runs in that family.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Sorry to run, but hopefully I'll see you all again soon. And thanks again, Alecia, for inviting me, and Matt for having me. Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad you made it. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Good night. Real quick, the reason I usually start with this little one. I take it with me, and I feel if it's good enough, I generally will transfer it to the bigger one, and do a lot of editing there. And if I like it to that point where I think it's done, that's when I'll add it and digitize it and put it into the hard drive thing. But that, I guess that's my sort of formula of what I do. And as far as I can't really it's something that I've done ever since forever, which is basically it's really not my job, and there's no way I could not make anybody upset or happy. It's a choice they have to make for themselves. If they don't like my stuff, if they don't like my creativity and the things that I'm doing, that's up to them. There's really nothing. And probably living with my wife for 35 years, and my mother-in-law too. She's I'm an Aries living with two Libras, and you can tell sometimes I'm ready to crack, because Aries are black and white. Either I'll do it or I won't. Hey, are you sure you don't have it? I'm sure. I'm not going to do it. I told you I wasn't. I'm not trying to be difficult. It's just the way my brain works. And the Libras are so busy. Well, this could be this or this could be that. I live in a black and white world. Either I will or I won't. And they live in gray, which still to this day, it's been 35 years I've been married, and it fries my brain just thinking, how could you live that way? I don't understand, It's amazing. But anyway, and she's taught me everything about this astrology stuff. I'm definitely generally studied theology, so that's sort of my thing, theology and architecture. Other than that, I've been working in a pharmacy to support my habits, distributing drugs, and I can't even take more than one Tylenol, which is hilarious. But yeah, anyway, I guess that's my input to the question as best as it come out.
And And
Hey y'all, so I'm just about to leave. I have another show to get to. But it was awesome. Thank y'all for having me.
thank you for coming, Suze.
Awesome. I'll see y'all later.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you.
And like I've said stuff where someone's just like, I really don't like your poem. I'm like, my poetry is not for everyone. And right now I've like mainly mainly writing like kind of like horror or like the slow burn existential dread. Because my horror isn't like good blood and guts, it's more like atmosphere.
I feel it. You know what's cool? Because David was here, and Ed architecture. I was a draftsman for a while. Ed, I think David was an architect. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
But anyways, have you? And then Alecia, you let me know when you're done, because you're the one
Whenever
today.
whenever you're ready, Matthew.
Don't put it on me. It's not me today. But
it's my first time hosting, and I've never hosted, and so it's just like I'm out of my comfort zone.
It's so much pressure, right?
Yeah, but I would do it again. I don't think I did. Thank you. I don't think I did. I thought it was just like it was fun. It was like I'm so glad everyone showed up. Thank you, Ed, so much. Thank you, Matthew, for like out of your comfort zone. You can do it.
Always. You did a great job. You did a great job. You were like natural.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Okay, so last question, and I'm gonna give it to Ed. Ed, you get the last question, and then I'll close us out. Do you see any parallels between architecture and writing?
I totally do. It's where I started. It's where I started. I mean, I totally see it. The creative process is that. And I can't tell you how many times I don't do that anymore, but it's like everybody I know has their degrees and what they did, and they're doing something else. Everybody, my son's partner, he's got a degree in hospitality, and he's now teaching a high school. Okay. And I went to USC, and I took architecture and a minor in theology, and I did that for a very little time. When I found out they were willing to pay me $30 an hour to drive a truck up to Northern California, hey, you know, I could draw on my lunch hour as I'm parked by the beach, because I started, okay, I'll do that instead. But I never really done anything as far as that is concerned. But drawing, it's I'm at my table every chance I get, just coming up with ideas, and before you know it, I have stuff designed and written and measured, and on the side I have poetry written on the side of the draft paper. Just now it's just fun for me. I love it. I can't it's a creative process, and it's all innate. I mean, it comes from here, and it comes from this brain, which screws with me more than as my meditation teacher used to say. He would say, in my mind, and he would touch his chest, in my mind. And he said, this up here is just a machine that gives you ideas. That was his thing. But
awesome. Okay, I have a follow-up when we're done off of YouTube. So, but thank you, Ed, thank you, Alecia, thank you everybody for tuning in. Remember to connect with us. This is on your screen now. Connect with us in all of our social medias, all of our internet hideouts and hangouts, all those fun things. I'm going to leave the Discord link up there while we close out. We'll see you next time on August 29. I think. I'm pretty sure it's August 29 is the last Saturday of August. Join the Discord. It's new. We're hoping to chat, build the communities, do all that fun stuff. And we will see you then. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Alecia. Thank you to our guest Emcee. Thank you to Ed and all of our other readers today.